I'm Tom McMillan, Senior Pastor at Knox Presbyterian Church. I recalled back years in the days of our minivan where in the summer I had a plan, about a half hour available to wash, clean the minivan. And I realized, why should I be doing this alone? So I kind of recruited the 4 boys and I found 4 sponges and rags and buckets and filled them up and stuff. We all went out there and everything was going fine. You know, all the washing was going on, and then I got out the rinse and we rinsed it all, and then I got the towels out, started drying, but then when we began drying, all of a sudden the sponges came back out and soap started flying everywhere. And I'm like, well, this is gonna take a long time because we had just washed it, then dried it, it's all ready, but now they're throwing the sponges again. I remember that moment of tension thinking, darn it, I'm trying to wash the van and this isn't happening as I had planned it to happen. It's gonna take a whole lot longer. And then all of a sudden there was this release from the expectation that it would be done right. And there was more kind of this enjoyment of just the chaos of the moment, which almost had more value than the rightness of the project. So in Mark, Jesus, right before Mark 7, he has fed the 5,000. He's walked on water. He's healed those who are sick. He's cast out a demon. But then in the text in Mark 7, the Pharisees watch Jesus and the disciples have not washed their hands before the meal. So they come at Jesus with this challenge, with this critique, and kind of this observation that has judgment and expectation. How is it that your disciples don't even wash their hands? And I imagine Jesus was kind of bewildered. Is that what you're concerned about? Do you know what's been happening? Do you know the mighty acts in the kingdom of God that's unfolding, and yet you're worried about clean hands? You kind of missed it. You've missed it. Maybe the rightness of the form doesn't need to take priority over the function of the kingdom of God coming in. We always say that, you know, form should follow function, but many times we get so stuck on the form and the ritual, the rightness of the act, and we miss the spirit and the purpose of what God is trying to accomplish in us and through us, and the new work that God is about that requires us to think differently and place value on the timing, the priority of God's love that kind of just bursts onto the scene. Are we ready for it? Can we cultivate awareness of what God is doing and savor these moments that may not fit our expectations, but they introduce us into something very powerful that is of God's timing and God's priority and God's joy. Remember, you're not alone. God cares for you, and so do we.